Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone podcast. My name is Kathy. It's been almost 9 months from the date of the pretrial conference back in May of 2025 in Idaho versus Kohberger, when Judge Stephen J. Hippler expressed his concern about what he called leaked documents and information and things that were under seal in the highly sealed case that somehow made its way to mass media, specifically to NBC Dateline, in a special on the case before trial. At that time, trial was still scheduled to happen in August of 2025. Judge Hippler held up a court order and said that there would be two that would be going out, one to the state, one to the defense, with some terse beliefs. Judge Hippler expressed the concerns that he had. How could this information have gotten out when the public was told, ladies and gentlemen, time and time again, nope, you can't see these images from the 1112 camera of suspect vehicle 1. You can't see all of these other items regarding Mr. Kohberger and the case while there was a non-dissemination, aka a gag order. So really what that was it was contempt of court. It was a contempt of that order by whoever the person or people responsible for that quote-unquote leak was. And Judge Hippler, during that final pretrial conference, expressed the fact that he intended to get to the bottom of things and figure out what happened, and that if necessary, there might be a special prosecutor with the ability to issue subpoenas that would investigate the matter. It's been 9 months. And not a word to the public as to whatever happened regarding that quote-unquote leak, really contempt of court. Was anyone ever held to account? The public doesn't know. Another thing the public is not aware of is that 6 months ago, just about, the Idaho Department of Corrections included a notation on their website indicating they were aware of images, video that had been circulating, purported to have been taken within this supposedly high security prison. The Department of Corrections was very intent on getting to the bottom of how images of someone, they didn't name who it was, but coincidentally, there were images purported to be of Mr. Kohberger shortly after he arrived at the Department of Corrections that circulated the internet. It was the topic of many stories from the mainstream media, from podcasters, independent sources, shared online. Idaho Department of Corrections stated the safety and security of the prisoners and their staff was of top priority, and if necessary, criminal action might be pursued. Now that was a half year ago, and as with the leak of the documents, aka the leak of the information under seal, aka violation of the gag order, aka contempt of court, not a word has been stated as to where things stand regarding the events that happened at the Idaho Department of Corrections. It has been almost 2 months since Judge Stephen J. Hippler in the very highly sealed criminal case of Idaho versus Kohberger, which was closed back in July of 2025, but still with so many documents and evidence under seal, issued an order directing dozens upon dozens upon dozens of documents from January, February, and March 2025 were to be released on the public docket, some with redactions, many without. A view of the docket today, not a single document's been released pursuant to that court order of December 18th, 2025. And in consideration of all three of these events, the rhetorical question must be asked per the First Amendment. Why? We're going to continue to keep you posted as further developments arise as to the status of the unsealing of the documents in Idaho versus Kohberger, as to the end result of this information that was somehow leaked to mass media, and as to the Idaho Department of Corrections investigation. Until next time, this is Kathy. Thank you for joining us here today.